Hello and welcome to this RealServe IT product overview. Today we're going to be talking about Wanova Mirage, and I'm going to basically show you how the software works, and that will enable us to highlight its main features and benefits. Now, the Wanova Mirage software fits into your existing environment. So in this slide here we've got two laptops. Now they could be Windows XP or Windows 7, both are supported. And then up here in the data center we've got our Wanova Mirage server. Now, we basically install a small agent down on the end devices, so on these two laptops for example, and it'll create a virtual disk image of those devices, a CVD. Then IT pull up those CVD images at the time of their choosing up into the Mirage system. Now, from an end user perspective, this is done in the background, so the user carries on working and their disk image is sent up into the data center. Now, it uses some smart technology to ensure we don't send massive images across the network. So it uses deduping, so it's not going to transmit files that it's already seen. So the first laptop will send up Windows XP, for example, but the second one wouldn't because it's already got all the Windows XP files. And so over time it becomes extremely efficient, where it sees the same operating system, the same set of applications, and pretty much the only thing that will actually have to go across the network will be the unique user data and any very custom apps that the user might have installed which it hasn't seen before. It always also uses compression technology, so basically minimising what we're having to send across the network there. Now, with these CVDs up in the Mirage system, we straight away get a benefit that we've got a full backup of those devices. Up here we've got a complete backup of the user's end device. These backups are synced at regular intervals to keep them up to date. The software also allows the end user to perform restores themselves through a context menu GUI, where they can roll back files that they've deleted or roll back to previous versions of files. The system also enables a very flexible restore system with regards to these CVDs up in the data center. So, for example, if one of the laptops was to break physically, or it gets lost or stolen, or even a hardware upgrade, the user is given a new laptop, and IT push out the old CVD image of that laptop to that new device, and this new device instantly becomes that user's laptop. Everything that was unique to that user will now be on that device, and then they'll continue to run with this, and that'll sync back up with the data center as normal. Another option that you've got is if you've got a hypervisor within your environment, so VMware, Zen Server, or Hyper-V, you can mount that CVD on your hypervisor, and the user could remote connect with a RDP or ICA, whatever technologies you're using, and they'll have again their laptop up in the data center running there on a hypervisor. So you can straight away see we've got some very flexible backup and restore options there. We've got regular background backups of devices, full backups, and it's all network optimized for low bandwidth connection using its dedupe technology and compression. It also does storage deduping, so we don't obviously store duplicate data up in the storage area. For restores, we give the users this tool for restoring their own files without having to make a call into IT. We can also deploy that image to any device. So in the event of loss, theft, damage, replacement, or someone moving to a bring your own computer device, we can just distribute that image to them, and they'll have the exact same copy of their machine as they know it on a new device. We can also roll the devices back to recent snapshots, so it's taking regular snapshots, and you can basically just roll it back. So the user says the laptop's gone crazy, when did it last work? Let's just roll it back to that. IT can also do mount the image for support purposes. So say a guy's got a problem with his laptop, he's not available, he's offline from the network. IT can just grab a copy of his CVD from his last online connection, mount it up on a hypervisor, and they can troubleshoot his laptop without actually having his laptop. Very powerful support technique. Now, another layer of what the product does is base image management. So here we've got the same two laptops with their CVD images. We've got the Wanova Mirage server. We've now got this reference device down the bottom right. And this is basically our gold image. this is going to be the corporate standard image that we want users to have. So we build this up with our favourite operating system, all the latest patches, all the normal applications you'd expect to deliver to users, so Office, Adobe, WinZip, everything you want to deliver to users. And you basically upload that CVD up into the data center like we did with the users' laptops. Then you convert that to a base image, and the conversion process takes out the machine uniqueness, so it can be delivered out to multiple machines. It doesn't deliver any user data, obviously, from that reference device as well. And then IT can deliver that base image out to the users. Now the base image will download in the background, like the upload. The users will carry on working while the image downloads in the background. Once the image is finally copied down to the device, they'll get prompted to reboot, to pick up the base image update. They'll reboot their device, and then they'll be running with the new corporate base image. And the important thing here is that the users will keep their user-installed applications here. So, say laptop 2, he'd installed iTunes on his device. That's probably not going to be in your base image. But the base image goes down underneath. The user-installed apps stay the same, so he'll still have his iTunes. And the top layer is the user's data. And again, that doesn't get affected. You keep all his user data just as you'd expect. Now, another great advantage of this software is that there's a technique for migrating from Windows XP to Windows 7 with this. So you can build yourself a reference device with Windows 7 and deploy out that base image to Windows XP devices. And again, it'll download the Windows 7 image in the background of the Windows XP user's device while they're working. Once it's complete, the user gets prompted to reboot to receive the Windows 7 base image. The user will reboot their device, and it'll perform a migration of the user's data into the new structure that Windows 7 has. For example, see users rather than documents and settings, etc. And then the user will basically be working on the new Windows 7 laptop with all the user data intact. Users will lose their user-installed applications in a cross-platform migration like that, but going forward with the Windows 7 image they won't, so future updates on the platform will keep their user-installed applications. You can also set policies, so maybe you don't want them to have those user-installed applications. And what you can do there is you can lock the base image and the middle layer of the user-installed applications so that every time the user reboots, they don't have those user-installed applications anymore. They'll be forced with the base image that you provide as IT, and they can keep the top layer of their user data, of course. So to summarise, Mirage is offering single image management, where you need to manage a single base image for all your desktops, laptops and VDI instances, or you can manage multiple base images if you so need it. Now, the advantages of single image management is improved rollout speed, a very flexible deployment technique, and this will help deliver desktop refreshes. It's going to reduce IT overheads and costs associated with traditional deployment methods of images. You can enforce IT compliance. That's where we were talking about forcing this base image on a user so that they can't change it from what we've given it apart from their user data. Devices also have the option of becoming IT and user managed. And what we mean by that is IT can control this base image, it will push out all the fixes and patches, etc. But the user can still install their own applications. IT don't have to sledgehammer, get rid of everything the user puts on there. We can meet both requirements of user wanting to manage their own device and IT wanting to maintain some standards. We simplify testing by having these base images. We want to do a change, we've just got to test it on all the base images we have, and we know that it'll fully work across our environment. We reduce the complexity of the environment, which again delivers great benefits. We have an audit process, and this is where Mirage can perform an audit of the devices. It can show you, for example, what's installed that's not in the base image. So you'll get a list of user-installed applications that you didn't know about that are different to your base image. And this technology, of course, prevents image sprawl. You're maintaining and managing these devices. And it's also all done without a hypervisor, though it supports hypervisors, so you can mount those CVDs on a hypervisor if you so wish. And that ends the briefing. Thanks for listening.